funny? She goes, well, if you want to watch something, you got a TV in your room. I'm looking for something to watch so we can play pool. Oh, okay, that's fine. Me and my son just kind of went and we kind of just hung out there, and that was it. But a while ago, so we get a pool membership every year. So I got a discount, came through my email, and I texted her and said, hey, we get this discount for the pool. Thinking about going ahead and doing it. And I only answered, cool. So I just assumed she was busy. So I get off work early. I'm off right now. Boss let us go early. So I called her mom to see if she was doing some work in town to see if she needed a hand because she weighs like 100 pounds and I can lift more than she can. And I said, well, I guess, I was on the phone with her. I was like, well, I guess Tiff's busy because I mentioned something to the pool and, she hadn't replied back. And I get to hear Tiff in the background just all, if you want to talk to me about the pool, then you can call and talk to me about the pool. Like, whoa, okay. All right, I've got to go.
Well, you're just running from it then. You should have just finished your conversation and just ignore that, right? But yeah.
Well, I did with her, but then I got on here, so I was like, all right, I got to go.
I see. Well, actually, I have to go right now, but let her know. I'll talk to her later if I need to. Like, don't let somebody just walk all over you, but at the same time, don't be afraid. Kind of was telling Bill, don't be afraid of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not supposed to be patient with her, but this pettiness just like she's trying to pick a fight.
Well, she is, but you were that way for so long too, right? So it's frustrating when you're making changes and then somebody wants to pick a fight all the time. It's frustrating because it's like, well, then you fucking figure out what you want to do, or you leave, or but then you're going back to you. Just who do I want to be? Right? At some point, when you're that man that we keep talking about, the one that you're proud of, then you're not going to deal with that shit anyway, whether it's with her or anyone else. You know what I mean? Because nobody deserves to be picked on, screamed at, bullied, name called toward. Like, none of this shit's real. It's just fucking childish. But we did it too, right? So give her some grace. She's not in a program. Set an example. Be the role model. And if she doesn't follow a lead, then we'll deal with that. But first, you need to show up. So I get the sense that maybe you're not really looking for any new information. You just needed to vent for a second. Is that maybe more?
Pretty much, just because it just happened, and it's like, what the fuck?
All right.
But
just remember, guys, when we vent, we're not thinking about how we could be better. We're not thinking about what kind of man we want to be. We're complaining. We're building resentment and contempt, right? So it's not a powerful tool for you. It's a weapon against you, okay? Because that man is the man that's going to shut down, or that man's the man that's going to get angry down the road. That man's the one that might blow up and finally be like, fuck you, I've been doing all this work, and you just undid everything. You know what I mean?
Right. Gonna hold it in like a bottle that's shook up until the cork pops out.
That's right. And you're not supposed to hold it in, but just think about the mindset. You're actually releasing it, right? If I'm like, no, man, I don't need to vent right now about the way she was so frustrated, the way she's picking on me every day, the way she's fighting all the time. I don't need to do that. I need to understand. Okay, I actually did a lot of that petty behavior for a really long time too. Actually, some of my behavior was worse. Wow, I remember that time I did. Now you're not holding anything in. And this is where a lot of guys get confused. It's not about venting and bitching. It's about releasing, right? You're not taking her shit and her disrespect and her abuse. You're literally understanding where she's coming from. I did that too. So you're not bottling it up. You won't explode like a cork. You don't have to bitch with somebody to prevent that. You have to process that. Make sense?
Yep. That's the best thing about this group is you get someone to explain it to you that's outside looking in, and then you're able to reflect on what's going on and realize what you need to do and how you need to respond and grow with that.
That's right. Dude, I realize you're going through a really, really difficult process because your wife is certainly more aggressive than a lot of wives can be. Okay. But here's the thing. If you keep showing up the way you've been reflecting, especially you had some massive, you climbed over a mountain a few weeks ago, right? You just right over the top. And now you're ready to really engage with reflections, right? So you will be able to put a stop to this disrespect. Okay. Right now, if she doesn't follow your lead and become influenced, then that's okay. Because we'll put a stop when you've been showing up. Okay.
Right.
And guys, again, for some of you, this is like when you get the most respect. Because at first she starts to come at you like a big F you and starts to scream at you even more. And you just respond the same way. Actually, again, I'm not tolerating this anymore. You know, and when you do that correctly, you gain a lot of respect because you're not taking it. But that man can't do that if he hasn't shown up first. Otherwise, she doesn't give a shit what you have to say. Okay. So again, try not to vent, try to process and let it release. Okay. Try not to feel sorry for yourself. The pity party because of this pettiness is disrespect. Right. And then we'll get you there. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
I guess I was just more, because it just happened, I guess I'm more kind of pissed about it, but I'm not really pitying it. It's just irritating. And I need to work through that. So it's not irritating. It's just reflecting on, I did it to her. Yeah. She's got a lot to work through. She's not in a group. She's not talking to anybody besides the toxic people. So
again, stop with the she shit. You can't control her. You can't decide for her. You can only influence by being the man you want to be. We did this with somebody. I can't remember if it was on the phone with one of you guys yesterday, if it was on the call yesterday here, but we had to talk about this too. Oh, it was on the call. It was with Jeff, the other Jeff. And I'm just like, come on, man. Stop saying she. This does nothing for who you want to be. Just let it go. Okay? Because here, like, let's use this. So 3 months from now, she's still just coming at you, guns a-blazing, right? But you're not saying she anymore. You're like, I really don't like this behavior. Right? Now we can use a fact and a feeling and express a boundary. Okay? But the resentment that builds up, or this cork that you described that could blow at any time, that will happen without you even knowing if you don't follow these steps. Okay? Okay. Josh, I think your hand was up next first.
Yeah, I was just going to say thanks for the help from you and Andy last night.
Yeah, man.
It was a little bit rough, find out that I didn't get that job and everything. And I had a great big long message to let her know about it with a bunch of extra shit in there that would have just really ruined all my progress. And so after talking to you guys, I just did what you said, just sent her a quick voice memo explaining that I didn't get it and just taking ownership for, what I did, that most likely cost me my chance there. But she took it really good, other than saying that, hey, this is all my fault. I'm truly sorry and all this. And I followed up with just saying, hey, it's not your fault. I shouldn't have done that. I knew better, and just always start looking for a different spot. So she took it really good and was supportive of me. And
well done. So. Well done, guys. That's a response, not a reaction, right? And you actually expected she would take it real bad, and you would have been sucked right in if you'd sent that long text message first. It could have sent her on a spiral, right? And it could have amplified. And so by taking the responsibility that you did, it shows her somebody totally different. Plus you responded, and you also had good structure. Yeah, I'm just going to start looking for a new spot. And that's something you came up with on your own. So well done, Josh.
Yeah, so she's supposed to be calling me today, and she hasn't called me in like 6 months. Normally I'm the one who always reaches out to her. So I don't know, I'm just taking it step by step, but I owned it, and it's not the world. So I appreciate all the help.
Yeah, you got it, man. That's what we're here for. Proud of you. All right, Matt, you're up next. You're not. You're muted, dude.
There we go. Okay. Can you hear me now, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I think you're frozen. Okay, I'm going to let you log out and log back in. Nathan, you go.
All right. I need a little bit of expertise, Cass.
Okay, that's what I do.
So
let's do it.
I came on the call just a little bit late, and I know I got the tail end of that conversation. I want to kind of expand on that one. So she can be she's a vicious type 3.
Okay.
So she can be, I'm going to roll up the window real quick. I mean, she gets upset. Sometimes it's fuck you, nigger. I fucking hate you. Go to hell. Fuck you, liar, liar. Like, I mean, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, going off on me. I'm like, you know, babe, you're right. I did do that. That was wrong to me. I shouldn't have fucking acted like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I just try to show up and I try to validate her because she's just out of her fucking mind at that point.
Yeah.
And
so first of all, that's a really good lesson for everybody right now. If somebody's out of their mind, they don't hear a fucking word you say anyway. So now you can do your validation, but make sure you're not doing the TBH way, right? You know how you just be validating. You actually don't understand what she's feeling. You're not providing structure. So you can still provide structure even if she's out of her mind, right?
Right, exactly. And so since I've joined the program, I've started to show up different. Like, I'll tell her, you know, she'll be going off on me, and you know, you're right. And then I'll tell her I love her, and she'll say, "Don't you fucking tell me that." And I'll say, "No, you know, stop telling me you love me." And I said, "No, I'm not gonna stop telling you I love you."
No, don't do that. Don't do that. That's all. It's still. I know it's not, but it does feed into the, you know, the desperate, needy kind of guy, right? So just be more fun, right? Like, but I do love you. Can't help what we love, or whatever, you know. With an ass like that, of course I do. Like, just provide more of where you want to go instead of, but I do love you. Don't you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially because that's what I meant by you can provide structure. So she's out of her mind saying "fuck you" and using words like that, which makes zero sense to me. But now you just have fun, right? Now that will make her more mad, right? Because she's already angry. And what do you think? This isn't fucking real, or I don't know, whatever. And just like, you're just not gonna get on the crazy train with her. That's the dumbest thing we could ever do, right?
Yeah. So I'll give an example. Tell me how you think I did.
Okay.
So the other day, she said that she's looking for a place to move out to, right? And so we jokingly had this conversation once before when things were good. That so we've got this little dog named Jake, and we both absolutely love this little dog. And I told her, she said, you know, if I move, you aren't getting Jake, right? And I says, "Oh, the bullshit." I says, "I'm taking Jake. You can go, but I'm taking Jake." And so the other day, she was just out of her mind. She was telling me she was leaving, this and that. And I get home and I just had a big smile on my face at lunchtime. That big smile on my face. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she smiled, and then we got talking, and it led into, you know, I was leading that positive yes tone, right? And pretty soon we're laughing and having fun with each other, and I, you know, kind of pushing around, joking. And she said something which led me into the conversation of her leaving. I don't recall what it was, and I just looked at her and smiled. And I said, "You remember, if you leave, I'm taking Jake." And I just started laughing, and she got a big old smile on her face, started laughing. You know, we were just having fun.
I don't think that's all terrible, but I think that you said a couple times, you know, if you leave, this is an attack statement, right? So it's not like it worked out for you, but, you know, you kind of always want to make sure that you're supporting that you're not going anywhere without coming across desperate. Give her the adventure and all the fun too, you know? But you're going to have a hard time with that with somebody keeps talking about leaving. So you just go, you kind of like go with it in the fact that, all right, well, that's what you need to do, you know? We'll deal with Jake at that time, you know, like it just doesn't affect you. You know what I mean? Because especially because she's in and out of this fucking crazy up and down elevated anger, you know? So sometimes people think, also, I want to say this to you. Sometimes people think, because you've been a little bit on the roller coaster yourself, right? Like she's out of her mind. And so like I've picked the wrong one, this and that. Listen, you remember we had that conversation where you allowed this negativity and anger and the way she disrespects you along the way. Also, you influenced it by setting that example and raising that bar yourself, right?
Oh, absolutely, so, I did, yeah.
How are you on that journey? Because I feel like that was a few weeks ago we talked about that, where you were like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I got to pull the pin, wrong check," right? Where are you?
Yeah.
Where are you at with that?
I don't know, man. Something just clicked for me, and she's the one. Whatever it takes, I'm moving forward with her. And and I told her that yesterday. I said, you know what? I said something about, and this is TBH bullshit. You know, I've still got some of that in me. Told her, if you really want to leave, I understand. And if that's the decision you want to make. And she said, no, it's your decision. And I'm like, fuck. All right, you're right. And I says, you know what? My decision is, I says, you're the girl I love and the girl I want to marry. And that's what's going to fucking happen. Basically, I didn't say it just like that. But
I think it's okay. But I think more importantly, what you're learning is that she's waiting for you, right?
yeah,
That's good. So even though she's super angry, she's probably more angry that you're not showing up consistently all the time, right?
yeah.
And so she's
absolutely.
inappropriately handling her feelings. So you let her get that out, and then you keep showing up, and we'll put some boundaries in place because it's okay to be angry. It's not okay to scream "fuck you," you're a nigger. That's not appropriate, right? And so, and is she getting physical as well?
Not really. She's pushed me a couple of times, but nothing really. I mean, she's a very small girl. And
I'm not saying you're afraid of it. I'm just wondering how bad she's getting. She's smashing shit. She's getting in your face, whatever. So
what I mean is she's a very small girl and
Mhm.
she's scared, even of me. And I've never shown anything like that. But she has been beaten in the past and whatnot. And she doesn't want to get physical. She's pushed me a couple of times, but basically no.
she's just trying to protect herself. She's sabotaging by protecting herself. So just love her through it. So one of the things you'll have to focus on is, hey man, I married or I got into a relationship with somebody whom I deeply love, whom was hurt before. And then I made things worse. And so she doesn't trust you. She doesn't feel safe emotionally from the ways that you've acted, the ways that you've raised the flags, right?
Yeah.
Take ownership of that, keep showing up, and then we might just have to start putting a boundary in sooner than later. I'm doing it faster with a lot of guys with this abusive wife, but it's always better if we don't have to, if you can ride it out. Because if she wants to change, because she's like, I don't like the way I'm treating him, he's so good to me, then you win. She wants to change for her rather than being told it's inappropriate, you're acting like a child. Essentially, no matter how you say you can't scream and swear and call people names, that's just like telling a child how to act, right? So no matter what, you're losing. It's better if you can just ride this out for a little bit, being consistent. So keep framing it in your mind about what can I do differently? How can I set the bar? How can I set the example? Okay?
That answers my number one question. Basically, what you're saying is it's better to just show up and not tell her she can't treat me that way.
Well,
and just keep showing up.
If you're, this is something that men are, because men value respect so much, right? Listen, when you show up and you give your wife what she needs, you're emotionally connected to her. You guys are a partnership. You're going to get all the respect in the world, and you will never remember this. But think about when you listen to the podcast or watch Catherine and I together on a reel or the podcast, right? We talk about the abuse and we're laughing, we're flirting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You will not have the disrespect that you so desperately want to avoid, and you will get the respect that you so desperately crave. Men need respect. I get it. But if you remember, you might not have pushed her. She was beaten in the past, it sounds like. Listen, your words, Catherine would tell anybody. Sometimes she would wish that I would have punched her in the face instead of, the words, the lecturing, the screaming, the days on end, And I was still physical with Catherine. And then there was the sexual stuff, right? All of that got Catherine to a point where when I was on probation, where she was like, I don't believe this, but now he's going to go to jail if he fucks up. So she was pushing a lot of that time in that year, right? What I had to look like, well, I helped raise those flags. That's a red flag. She should not be speaking to me this way. Listen, everybody on the fucking planet gets told, well, you can't do, Nathan, leave. Man, remember the nights you towered over her screaming? Just accept it. It's my fucking turn. I made this happen. If you can influence the negative, then you can influence the positive. Go back to what can I do to set the bar, the role model, the example. Okay?
And it's not disrespect, in my eyes, because in my eyes, I see it as her getting out the hurt. And it doesn't, I see it as that. I don't see her as attacking me.
Good.
And so.
Good. She is a hurt little girl. That's it. She also doesn't know how to communicate. She's also learning the skills indirectly from you if you show up, right? But this is why you have to be super, super careful from the Bulletproof Husband. Men like that go through that program, they do so much validation and so much suck it up, essentially, that you get more disrespect down the road quite often, right?
Yeah.
And so if you can detach from that and look at it just like that, right? She's hurt. She doesn't have the skills. I need to show up. Who do I want to be anyway? You know, that's something that I talk about all the time. You can do that more. She gets to feel. You love her through that. You don't validate, you actually understand, and that's true empathy. And then you provide structure for where you want it to go. And that part's missing from the Bulletproof Husband. Now you have the missing piece there. So provide that structure and take her on the journey. Those feelings will get out and then they'll be better. You'll get to the real feelings. Use curiosity, ask questions, find out what's going on. And not in the moment she's calling you names and telling you to fuck off. She's not ready yet.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. That clears a lot of stuff up that TBH clouded up a lot. And so it's that I just don't like I don't like the constant. TBH seems to be pushing for them to continue to do that, where I don't want to do that, you know. If she needs to feel, she can feel all she wants, but I want to move forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let's be careful. We don't want to trash it because you learned a lot of great skills from that program, and so many programs are like that. The reason why I created mine is because so many programs were missing parts, but there are some valuable things that you learned in there. So I don't want you to discredit it completely, because then you'll let go of those things, right? So some of the wonderful books that you've read now, same as me, we can still use those things. You take the pieces that you can, but you got, it's kind of like the rejection ladder. You can't stop with the bottom rungs of the ladder every time you get to the next one. You need to always use those things. Okay?
Yeah, and I feel like I kept stopping at the validation rung. You know what I mean?
Well,
and so
that's typically what you do as a man who's confused and wants direction, and typically is taking it from his wife. He's listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start to listen, you hear things like, well, if you don't yell, I would be happy. If you don't yell, I would love you more. I would want you more. So you stop yelling. It doesn't do fucking anything. It's not the structure for where you want to go. That's just normal behavior, right?
Yeah.
Same sort of thing with the validation. You can't stop there. You have to understand what she felt like, even if you have to figure out what I could go through to relate, to understand. Could be completely different, because you don't have to agree when you validate, right? So you need to understand where she's coming from. And this is not exclusive to a wife. This is your children, right? Think about how many times they've screamed and they're saying they want milk, but really maybe they want one-on-one time with their parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is not exclusive to, this is, if you truly want to be a giving, loving man, which should be part of who you are, right? You know, this is when you can give yourself to the world as a leader, true masculine, all these things, right? Is understanding first where people come from means that you're not reflecting back going, I need. Because you'll get your needs met, man. Trust me, it just fucking happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have been so big on that. That's one of the biggest things that I've done. I have put my hurt onto her, and every time we'd have some issue or whatnot, you know, I had so much deep hurt that I'd kind of go inside and I'd look at how much hurt I was so worried about me. And I don't do that anymore. When things like we have an issue, I always try and look at it from her side first. And it usually turns out 1,000 times better.
Well, that's because we're supposed to be men and protect. If you defend yourself based off your needs, you're never going to get your needs met because she feels attacked. You're not protecting her.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't make that up. Men say every day I protect, but then they defend themselves. I do this, this, and this, and you don't give me this, this, and this. If we scream, if we yell, I realize that you probably feel shitty about those words, but when you can detach, not take it personally, what do you feel? The feelings it doesn't affect you the same way, right? You just understand I need to provide structure. When we're good, she's not going to be doing that, or I'll remove myself from this. But we're not there yet, right? So we ride it out.
Yeah.
Now, on that note, are you struggling with those words, with those digs, with those attacks? Or are you able to separate it like you're talking about?
So what I do is I kind of visualize that when she comes at me with something, I'll stop it before taking it in, and I'll look at it. If is what she's saying true about me, and if it's not, I'll drop it. If it is, then I'll dig into that. And if it was, then I'm fucking proud, because it used to be true about me, and in the past 2.5 years, I've worked that out and I've got past it.
Well, wait till you really understand the nice guy and who you are as a nice guy. When you stop giving to get all these things, this is why words could never fucking hurt me now, right? It's because I know who I am and I know how much I give, right? And so I know that I'm getting in return by natural reciprocal, right? And this is relationships again, not just Catherine, right? So if you think about it like that, then you'll know what's real and what's not, because now you're no longer attacking your self-worth, taking it personally, because you know if it's real or not. You know, sticks and stones should break my bones. You know, people fucking tell kids this shit and they can't remember. Like if you need to understand who you are, then you need to understand who you are. She can call you that name. Frick, you're not even black and she's calling you that name. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
But why take it personal? It's inappropriate behavior. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But again, we can get there. Just take ownership, provide structure, and get her out of this mess, because she doesn't like it either. She's just stuck in this hole. Okay.
No, she's doing her best. I know she is. She really is doing her best. And yeah, she's just got a lot of shit she's working through.
Mm-hmm. Same as you. And she's not on the journey, right? You're in the program. You're the one trying to grow, right? So whatever she's trying to do, there's nowhere near the effort you're putting in. There's another reason why men take things personal. Just chill. You wouldn't even want to do a program if it wasn't for her, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So just, you're on the right path, man. Just make sure that you don't fall into that trap and get back into a nice guy, right? Be an actual great guy, and you will see that this will turn around. Okay?
Okay. That sounds great. Thank you, Cass.
Yeah, you got it, dude. All right. Who's up? Everybody's got a perfect marriage. You're welcome.
Is this gonna work?
I think so.
Okay, perfect. So I feel like I've kind of undone some things as far as progress is concerned with Katie, but I did it like mid-progress, and I'm kind of confused as to how I got there.
What do you mean? Like things you undone some old damage, or you took some steps backwards as you were going forward? What do you mean? Can you clarify?
Okay, so I think it was last week I was on and I was just saying how, you know, me and Katie were moving forward and like having good sex, whatever. I'd gone down on the one night and she couldn't reciprocate or even do anything after that. I don't know if you recall that conversation that I typed. Anyway, it's like during all of that, we were like texting back and forth, sending memes and whatnot. And I guess I had sent a couple memes that were like marriage vows, for instance. And it's like, oh, you know, I promise to take you forever and love you and blah, 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 blah. And then what they really mean was the backside. So it's like I think it's like what you call the, I can't think of it. Humor that hurts or something along those lines.
Wit is a weapon?
Yes, wit is a weapon. That's it. So I sent her some text message, whatever, right? During that time, we also were having sex. Then she had her period and she decided that she wanted to quit smoking like the same fucking day. I sent her like a text message. We were talking back and forth. I kind of got into how I was feeling kind of used by my kid, because even though we were having a great relationship, he's still a bit of a dick to me. And she said, oh yeah, you know, we're parents, we get used all the time. And I don't know why. I replied right back with like, "Oh, are you going to use me tonight? Ride me hard and put me away wet." And that just started this crazy, like, bad dive conversation from her, where essentially she was telling me that, you know, all I think about is sex, and it's driving her crazy because I'm asking her for blowjobs all the time, and how dare I when she's on her period and she's trying to quit smoking, and you know it's so selfish of me, and she asks me and she can't take anything I say for like, that's kind of the situation I'm in right now, and I feel like I responded really well. We haven't had actual conversations about it because I guess we just haven't really sat down and done it, to be honest. This is all through text message.
Well, stop all the texting, first of all. Now, you know, a lot of times, guys, you get too much in a rush, right? And if you think about, you know, like, you could have just used the one line, you know, you're going to use me tonight, right? You know, but adding the rest of it, we're always in this fucking rush. You have sex with her, you're ready to go again, right? Can't wait to do it again tomorrow. She might be good. We're just rekindling things. Then there's other questions. Are we actually exchanging banter that's not non-sexual? Sorry, that's non-sexual, right? Are we having good conversations and dates? You know, all of this stuff needs to be in place, or she does feel used. Remember, she's felt used for so long, right? And now you're getting yourself through the program. You're reminding her, if it seems like that's all you want, right? Now, if we're not having the conversations, we're not dating, we're not co-parenting together, we're not, you know, she's still looking down on you because you're not involved in the house, all these things, right? If we start to get comfortable, which can be an issue with you, where you kind of get a little comfortable, you do this instead of that, we need to make sure that we're always showing up using the reset, right? First and foremost. Then, yeah, don't be in such a rush. You know, I don't know how that was wit as a weapon. It sounds like you said it was wedding vows. That sounds fine to me. You know, she might have been triggered because that's not how it's been for years and years and years. So she might have been triggered. Plus, you're talking about hormone stuff. Plus, you're talking about quitting smoking, you know? So now the last thing is really just handling it. Like, it shouldn't affect you. First of all, if you're talking about period and you're talking about smoking, why are you taking it? Just don't take it personal if you are. And I shouldn't say why are you. Just don't take it personal if you are. It has nothing to do with you. That's her hormones. And if she reacts differently with her hormones, that's her, right? Don't take it personal. Now, do take it personal, but look at it like accountability. If some of these other things aren't in place right now, Matthew, and you are asking for blowjobs too much, you're not actually showing up, you know? Makes sense?
Yeah, I understand. And I've done some reflecting on it. Like, I've actually done a lot of reflecting because that's kind of what I do when I'm in these like moods, if you will. And I feel like I have shown up. Like, I do. I'm taking the kids to soccer. And I'm not doing it because it's fucking going to get me more sex. I'm doing it because I want to have a better relationship with my son. I want my daughter to call me when she's at a party late at night and, you know, is scared because she doesn't know who to call to get home. You know, those types of things. I feel like I've been showing up at home as a parent like I should, showing up as a spouse as I should, you know, buying her flowers at random times.
So they
doing all this.
So hey,
make me happy, make me proud.
Let me ask you this. I think you're out of your nice guy. You're not keeping, you're not saying all this because you're keeping score. You're checking yourself that I'm being the man, husband, father, and leader that I need to be. Correct?
Yeah. Making sure
that's okay. That's okay. Then don't take it. Hey, I got it. Good. Just don't take it personal then. This has nothing to do with you. If she still feels like you're using her, that's the past. You can't take it personal. You must understand that's what you wanted to do before. That's how you acted, right? And so that's okay. She's just in a mood and relating it back to something because you brought it up. It reminded her, right? Allow her the freedom to reflect and know that you're super involved with the kids. Yes, it would have been nice if she was more supportive. Ask the question, Why do you feel used, honey? Instead of just go with the joke. That's what they do. You needed to get a feeling out. That's what a partner would do. But provide that structure, dude.
And she came back with, well, you know, all of the things that you told me that you did, all the acknowledgement of the things you've done to me. If you don't know why I feel used, then why would you tell me all those things? And my response to her was, I told you those things because I need to release myself from my shame. Like, if I don't tell you this, then I'm going to carry it for the rest of my life, and I'm going to treat you terribly because I feel terrible.
Dude, I stress this in the reset that I know that that's where partnership will go, but your wife is probably not ready for that. So if you think about it just simply, I want to really simplify it and dumb it down for you. If she's felt like your mom for 20 years and now you need to get your feelings out with a partner when she's just barely felt like you're her partner for a few months, she's not ready to take on that shit from you. That's why we work together as men to release the shame. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. But I don't know, I'm just frustrated because I feel like things have been so great. Like, not great, but like the roller coaster has been up and down, like hard ups and hard downs. It's been good ups and good downs with some loop to loops that I enjoyed and some fucking, and it's just like, literally, like, we were having a great fucking day. The conversations were fine. And because we text and we do like Instagram Messenger, like, because I might be watching reels or something. So I send reels, right?
Matthew, this is probably more than likely the nice guy just kicking in. You're feeling like, what the fuck, right? Just chill.
Yeah.
Just chill. Don't take it personal. If you're having I love how you described it with a few loop-de-loops that I enjoy. Okay. You know what? Find the wins. You are becoming stronger partners. You're not trying to use her sexually. You've been connecting intimately, but you've also been doing all these other things that are great for you. That's what this is about. You. Then you show up. So don't let her derail your success. Maybe deep down she's testing you. She wants to make sure it's going to happen. You started this program and she was frustrated because it wasn't going as fast. She was waiting and ready for a long time, right? So that doesn't mean that she's not going to challenge you to make sure it's real so she can trust you. Love her through that fact. I can appreciate why you feel like I'm used. I guess I should have been more sensitive to the fact of, sure, your period or the smoking, whatever she said. Don't insinuate one of them, you know?
That to her, 100%.
Perfect. Then just be proud of who you are right now and don't let it derail you. Just be proud. It sounds like you're doing things correctly on a whole, right? Go love her through it. If she's...
I feel like it. Today, well, sitting on the phone with you right now, I feel extremely vulnerable. I'm not going to walk in the house feeling like that, but, you know, it's just, I don't know, I feel fucking weird. Like, it's just, I don't like that feeling where...
It's frustrating when you work so hard and you don't get exactly what you want as fast as you want it. Remember that. She was waiting for a lot longer. Like a lot longer. You're not going to have to wait the same amount of time. And it sounds like she's having an off day. If you can just remove it, taking it personal, just remove it. You'll probably just show up like a freaking badass Lord again and just go get your wife. Okay? You know, go be there for her. Sounds like she needs you. That doesn't mean you need to fix anything. It just means she needs to know that it's real. Or maybe she doesn't. Again, maybe she's just having a bad day because she quit smoking and she's on a period. Like, who fucking... We take things way too personally as nice guys. Right? Okay? Don't allow it. Just know deep down that you're proud of all these different ways that you've been showing up. I loved it. You even talked about, man, like, just want my kids to be able to... Man, this deep reflection, this is good. Right?
Yep.
Okay? Be proud.
Yeah, man. Sure,
Be proud.
Sure, thanks.
You got it. All right. What else you guys got? Nothing. Everyone's good.
I was gonna follow up on yesterday. We were talking about the brining of the turkey and my wife's concerns.
Yeah.
So I kind of pretty well nailed it last night that she got home and I was pulled off the stuff to do the brining, got the bucket out and everything else, and got out a slow cooker bag to put that eventually turkey would go in. And she said, "What's that for?" I said, "I don't want the turkey sitting on the plastic, just in the plastic bin itself." And she's like, "Oh, that's a great idea." whatever. But anyway, the part where she's kind of watching this whole thing, kind of skeptical, or I nailed it at is I got all the ingredients out and then said, oh, hang on just a second, I better put an apron on just in case. And I pulled out an apron I had bought that on the front it says, I've got this. I saw a YouTube video.
Cute.
And she started, kind of did the same thing. She started kind of laughing and just kind of sat back and watched that point, didn't say anything. And her girls came in, saw the apron, and just immediately just started really laughing. And they both turned around to Chris and said, and of course I'm their stepfather, he said, Dad never would have worn anything like that, And so there you could tell it was kind of like, oh, he's cool,
Yeah, you know what? I love this story, and thank you for sharing it, guys, because I actually wouldn't have thought about something like that. But that's such a great, cute thing to do, right? It says the statement that she can relax, I got this, or I'll figure it out along the way, right? Without having to say anything. And I also love that it's fun, right? If you guys think about when I'm trying to get you guys to be fun, that's what your environment needs to be. If you want good shit, do good shit, right? And what would most men not do? Do something like that, right? And so be like the men that we are trying to become, not like you would normally, which you never would have. You never would have done something like that. You just would have tried to talk your way into her fucking head or her heart, right? So, yeah, I think it's fantastic. I love it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend with it, because it should just keep that attitude up. Yeah.
Of course, I have to get up at 4 a.m. to start smoking the turkey, but hey.
It's okay. It's what we got to do sometimes. Fun. Yeah. All right, guys.
I'm okay with that. I'm an early bird.
That's okay. We all should be getting there if we're not. Okay. Anybody else have anything? I've got to get running soon here. So if anybody else has anything, give it to me now.
I got a quick question, kind of bringing up the talk yesterday about my wife being on a journey of her own, on a healing process of her own. And you had mentioned the therapist or the mentor / coach as opposed to a therapist. And so my question is, how should I bring something like that up?
No, you're not even close to that stage where she doesn't even want to talk to you about it really yet, right? So if she's talking to you, I can't remember if she told you about the therapy or if you just found out that she was going to therapy. I can't remember.
Yeah, no, she's told me.
Yeah, so you can always, you should be inquiring how things are going. Hey, how you doing? How's your healing? Or whatever. But there's no rush, dude, because if she wants to talk about it, she will. Remember, right now, people are telling her that more than likely, I should say, people are telling her you need to be free from him. You need to have space to heal, blah, 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 blah. They're supporting that part of her journey. And the therapist could be doing the same thing. So you don't really want to be invasive. You want to just keep showing up where she feels like they're idiots for telling her that. It's Kelly. I was married to him for so long. He cares, right? Then you'll get to a point. The reason why Greg's in a different spot is because he's literally been showing up where she's invited, she came back to him and said, okay, how do I do my part now? Right?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I need to hear. I don't want to push. I don't want to be pushy, but
let me tell you why. Guys. The moment you suggest a book, a course, if you send reels from my feed, the moment you just passively aggressively tell someone, even if you're gentle, that's how it comes across, that you're blaming them.
That first order change.
Yeah, well, not necessarily at this point. First, that's if they want to change, right? What's the reason behind the change? But what you're doing is you're putting responsibility on someone else, right? You're not saying, I'm in a program and I'm trying to get better, right? Listen, Greg's done incredible in the program. And his wife, he just said, this isn't going to work. I mean, there's lots of things I want besides sex. I'd like a relationship where it's reciprocal. I'd like a relationship where you're communicating and you're in control of your emotions. And we have this whole list, right? So she needs some help because she's not figuring this out on her own. She's not following his lead. right? If he doesn't yell and she's yelling, well, then it's been a year, right? Greg stopped yelling a year ago, right? So, excuse me, the moment you start saying, well, you need to do this, or what do you think about that? It comes across as aggressive or passive aggressively attacking them, right? You need to fix you now, right?
Yeah.
And there's a really good chance
Yeah.
that she doesn't need any of that, right? If
Seems to me to keep showing up.
yeah, there's a really good chance that she doesn't need any program. You know, I think that everybody is lacking in communication skills, for one example, right? However, at the end of the day, if you're showing up, communicating properly, showing her what conversation is like again, laughter, fun, dreams, achieving, all this shit, for a lot of people, that's all they need. Just someone to show them appropriately. That's why even so Nathan had his hand up earlier talking about his wife speaking to him that way. If he stops fucking doing what he used to do and speaking in the same manners, eventually she might not need a program. She stops. Well, I can't do that. Like, it's just not appropriate. And if it doesn't, we have boundaries. There's all kinds of other ways that potentially we'd invite her to a program. Potentially, right?
Yeah, and I don't even mean a program like for us, just her in general, like her, you know, like I genuinely, and I thought about it long before, you know, even bringing it up. Is this me being a nice guy and trying to
no, because
to get like
if you remove everything from it, every single person could get value from doing my program, single, engaged, married, whatever, as a man, right? Every single person, as a woman, man and woman here, could go through a program like Catherine's and get the same, right? Of course. Because I mean, it's every relationship in your life is affected. I think I was telling you guys on a mortgage broker here that he's using the reset with his employees, right? And all of them are doing better at work. Productivity is up. The quality of work is up. The morale is up. Like, everybody could. So of course, if you remove this situation, you're just talking real, right? Of course, that'd be a great thing. Hey, check out this woman, you know, the program she runs, blah, blah, blah. But the risk you run because she's trying to leave you is saying, hey, you should take some responsibility for yourself, right? That's just blame. That's all it comes across as. Do you see the difference? You want the best for her, but that's not what it comes across as. So here's the difference. Here's the difference. When we get you guys talking more, we do get her to want to date you. You're going to have questions for each other. Well, actually, I'm in this men's group. Oh, how'd you find that? Oh, this guy, online. Like, this could be a natural conversation. Actually, his wife has but we are nowhere near that right now. You'll just come across like you're attacking.
And that's another thing that I'm curious about pursuing is like invoking her curiosity, like asking her, hey, like, are you curious at all about, because I've mentioned it. I haven't mentioned you any specifics, but I've mentioned, like that I'm in.
No, if she's not curious, that's not invoking curiosity. That's trying to get to talk about what you're doing to prove where you're at. So that's exactly like what we're trying not to do, right? If she cares, she asks, you can answer the questions. But it's really about her noticing you because you've learned and grown, not because you explain your way into her head, heart, or vagina. The whole point is to just show up, right?
That makes sense, and
I think you just want to speed up, or you want to open doors.
Yeah, I do. And
I totally understand. And of course, if she, because right now she thinks it's all you because you've taken responsibility, right? But she's probably going to dig deeper and realize there's things that she's been doing wrong too. And she's going to see that for sure. She's trying to get true benefit in therapy. And then that might make her curious. And then her feed will be inundated with people like Catherine, right? And so let things naturally happen. If anything, that's your nice guy right there, is trying to be able to talk about your program, right? And so you don't need to do that. You just don't.
No.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I know. I feel like I need to be patient. That's my key. My kryptonite is how bad I want to rush it. But I know she can see the difference. I know she can see changes. I know that, you know, like she's straight up said that this isn't 100% my fault. There's things that she has done, and there's faults on her side, and there's things that she needs to fix on her side. And so, like, yeah, I do. She said before she even tackles any of that, her priority is her own healing, is focusing on her.
That's your most valuable lesson right there.
Pains and her.
Hold up. I got to cut you because I got to go here. Hold up. I got to cut you. That's your most valuable lesson right there.
Yeah.
She's hurting still. So she's not looking at a program for growth yet, which does cover the healing, but that's not why she's thinking therapist. That she's thinking therapist because I need to heal, right? So, of course, she can get the benefits from a program like Catherine's, but of course, because we do both, right? In our programs, you're healing and you're growing, right? And you're getting away from the past, and you're learning these skills that a therapist couldn't possibly teach. They just don't. They don't. We have different stuff, right? But the difference is that recognition right there, Kelly, that she's going there to heal, right? Which means she's hurting over you, over a loss of you potentially. Also, there's so many other things, but the ways that you were, all that. So just keep doing you and showing up being you, the new man. Okay.
Right. That's what I need to hear. Thank you.
You got it. Okay, Nathan, is it short? Because I do have to go.
Very short, quick win.
Okay, go.
So yesterday morning, come out of the bedroom. She's sitting there looking at my eyes. She says, "You know what? There's something different about you." She says, "Your eyes are bluer, like when you were a kid." She says, "You must be healing."
That's cute. That's good. And you know what? I don't know if that's true or not, but it sure means that she's looking at you and respecting you differently, at least in other times, either in other instances, right? So
Because it's not true. They were exactly the same color.
I'm sure, you know, I think that can happen with light and can happen with shirts. Of course, my eyes do some shit, but the point is that it doesn't really matter. That's love. That's a bid, right? She's coming to you, right? So that's great. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I love it.
Thanks, Kat.
You got it. Okay, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Record.
See you guys. Thanks. Bye. All right, guys. Thank you. See you later.